I'm Shaun and I run Gold Coast Greener Gardens. I set that up in 2017 when I moved into my new property and I bought acreage. And I'm like, I'm not happy with my industry that I'm in at the moment, which was fire suppression engineering. So I'm a qualified fire suppression engineer and I'm also a qualified builder and I'm also a qualified chef. So I've bounced around a little bit in bits and pieces and I don't like to stay in one thing all the time because I've always been inside, locked in, being told what to do, when to do it and how to do it. Because it's always been a teacher that's always told me, you can't do this or you can't do that. So I moved into an acreage property which was completely overgrown. I literally looked like a bush block and turned that into my thing there, into my peace and tranquility on that section there. So there's going to be a couple of photos in there of my property which I can point out, which is this one over here. So that was my learning curve of doing this one here. So from a builder's aspect, I've always done retaining walls, I've always done decks, I've always done patio roofs and pergolas, paved areas, concreting, all that one there. So to transition it from a building aspect where there's a flooded scene of 1 million people trying to rip off everyone, and then everyone's trying to get the cheapest quote, the cheapest price, but the highest aspect, and they're never understanding why it never turns out to the reason for they want that. So I decided to create a business that comes in and actually explains to the client why we do things this way and why we do things that way, and give them the option of going, we can do it this way here, which is the same as a sale property on that one there. We can come through and we can do a cover up, which is what we call a tart up for sale, where we clean up all the gardens, make them all look pretty, cover them back out with mulch in that one there, because 90% of people when they buy a new property, the first thing they rip out's the gardens. But the first thing you view when you walk into a property is the garden at the front of the house. You go, that looks nice and tidy. So if you're going to have an ugly looking property as you walk in, you're not going to have a nice sale. Or you can walk in and you can go, oh, it's all nice and clean and tidy and well presented. I'm happy to walk through this house. So you can add $50, $60, $100, $150,000 to a property price just by having a nice garden when you walk into the front of a house, as Gavin will know as well. It's called curb appeal. Small deck around these ones here, so re-fence and a re-turf along the edge of the property there on that one there. This is a floating deck over an uneven concrete section there, so we actually lay down a hardwood section there underneath it and shave the hardwood to create so it's a levelled area over top of that one, and then deck it out and then trim it in all the way around the rock work so there's no edges around there. So every single piece of board there's custom scoped and cut to fit in around that one. Next one over there, Campbell. We had a no access job in Sanctuary Cove where we had to bring a 4.5 metre palm tree into the backyard. And it was one palm, but the reach from the road to the front would have required about an $11,000 crane. So we can make things happen that you don't really want, that don't work outside the thing there. So a normal palm on this size here would come with about a 2.5 ton bag on the front of it. So we cleaned all the root work back and everything just back to a standard root, hand dug the hole in the backyard, brought it around the back, hand carried the palm back up into the backyard, placed the palm there in the patio inside the concrete section. The only other option was to either crane it over the house or walk it through the $4 million property, weaving it through all the corridors in the house. So there's that one there. We do ponds and patios as well. So this was originally a garden in the front of a property at Sovereign Islands. We actually ported through inside underneath the waterwork there and re-waterproofed and brought the pond from the outside to the inside at the same time then. And then through here we've come out to an external filtration system around hidden off the other side there. So it stays crystal clear all year round. It needs very little maintenance on there. It also allows the bottom section there to have enough biodiversity in there to keep the water clean and not smell at the same time. So you still can have your fish and your aquatic life inside and outside off the one system. Next system over there is just a little bit of topiary on a bush on that one there. We also do cane cleaning as well. So that's those nice ones where you see them in the resort where they're all cleaned up the trunk and they've got the nice little ball on the top. A lot of the time we come into them and do them and they're covered in all the previous people that don't trim them properly, and they're all falling apart, full of weevils and boring agents and all that one there. So we actually treat them for the boring agent at the time. We also do get into, this one here was a pre-sale that was going back through. It was over in Southport for that one there, and this is a good explanation of how much just a good clean up goes. So the next photo is once it's done. It's completely different probably just by mowing the lawn. You actually want to walk in there now and actually have a look at the property. You're like, yeah, it's still a bit of a ratty looking house, but it's a knockdown, but at least now you're happy to walk around it and have a look at it just by cleaning up the yard. These ones here was an existing pump system, so this one here will tie back in again. So this was the existing pool setup underneath the property there, and then we've replumbed it back out for here. So if we go through to the next photo, I think it is, no, next one again, they're not in the right order. That's right, so then we're working around this one here and we've actually fitted in a full ecosystem off the edge of the pool there because we converted it from a pool back to a pond because she wanted to swim with the fishes. That was my brief for the whole job. I want to swim with the fishes. So we click back through again, we'll have to come back. So we got bobcat work. Oop.
How far back to?
Yep, one more.
Back one more.
Keep going forward, sorry.
Oh,
Forward. So we've got all the bobcat work around it, all the new retaining walls around the front of the property there, all new fences that went in around that one there. Keep coming forward again. So this is actually all the water work inside. So we've sunken in ponds inside and then gravel in the bottom for that one there. We've placed a waterfall inside it. She wanted to be able to grow vegetables through the fish matter so it self-filters itself. It's a full biodiversity system that we built for this lady. Keep going forward again. So this is the actual pool. And this is it, swimmable with the fish and the plants inside, and it stays crystal clear like that all year round. But it's built as a biodiverse system, not as a section. So she actually breeds jade perch in the pond. Actually breeds jade perch in the pond and a Murray cod as well. So they both live inside that pond there and then come back again. And we'll jump back again backwards just to make Campbell work some more. Keep going. This one here, go forward. This one here, the brief was I want a waterfall in the pool that the kids can jump off of. So we've ported through the back of the pool over here and we sit in a custom rock section on there and stacked all those ones there back in again. Sitting behind there's the full pump set in it, and then we've underlit the waterfall across the front of it there. So they can stand on the deck and turn the waterfall on with a remote control and then turn the lights on with a remote control. Because you can. Then moving back forward again. That one there. So this one here was a no access retaining wall job. It used to just slope all the way down here, and every time it rained, it used to flow back out here onto the front there. So because they didn't want to demolish the fence on the front side there and have all the machinery come through, it was a hand dig job, and then all those stones were placed by hand as well. So it's trolley and hand job. So we do a lot of tight access work as well. Keep moving forward. Yep. Obviously the retaining wall blocks on there. So these ones here are a steel post system because we're over a metre. And these ones here, we could use the existing ones underneath where the old timber was because the post was still in good condition because we're under a metre. So you've got to play within engineering requirements as well. So there's a fair bit involved in landscaping that you sort of just don't think about before you go. Like all my briefs that I get from the client are always, I want to do this. I found this on Pinterest. And then I've got to work from that image backwards to where we can start from to where we've got to pull it out to be able to engineer it correctly so it's not going to fall down and crush someone. Because when you think about it, this front corner here has the pool above it. So we've got an aspect slip of, I think it was like 80,000 litres of water sitting inside a concrete shell, which we dug back on that one there and replaced in the new retaining wall, plus the soil sitting behind that and all the plumbing and everything as well. So there's about 500 tonnes of soil sitting behind that we're holding back up again. There's a lot of engineering involved that goes into a retaining wall, hence the massive price when people go, holy shit, I thought it was only going to be a 20 grand job and we come in at like 300 grand. It's just engineering, concrete. Each one of those posts underneath that one there was 2.2 metres deep and 600 millimetres across. So it holds like 1.3 cubic metres of concrete reinforced inside each hole. Moving forward. Forward again. Forward again.
That's it.
That's it?
Yep.
All right, beautiful. Are there any questions? So this is outside of my normal works of just maintenance as well. So we have a full maintenance team as well. So we come around, trim your hedges obviously, cut the grass, weed spray, weed identification, mulching, irrigation as well. So we haven't even touched on irrigation there. So there's a fair bit involved just in irrigation as well.
To be able to swim with the fish, I presume there's no chlorine.
There's-
What are you putting there?
It is literally just water, and then we build a biosystem. So the biological system of the water keeps the water clean, which then filters back through. So we come through here, and we come through the skimmer box across here, which is the existing skimmer boxes, and they run through here, and then they run through an aquaferm that runs around there, and then it aerates through the waterfall, aerates in the bottom, and then it filters through the garden bed patches underneath, and then it comes back to the polishing tank, which was the round ball back underneath there, and then it pumps it back into the pool again, and it continues that system. So we're creating a natural. Any more questions?
I can tell you, I could not speak more highly of Shaun. I had the fussiest vendor, which actually settled the other week, which was referred to me by Clinton. That's who Cooper works for. This is how it works. He referred me the business.
Yep.
Shaun gets a gig, and this would have to be the the hardest and the fussiest person ever as a client. Fair call.
Yep.
She so was, and
She used to call every day and go, there's dead
non-stop,
leaves on the plant, so I'd have to
non-stop.
go around there and hand cut and trim the
No,
trees.
unbelievable. But I have never heard someone, my son is a landscape gardener in Melbourne, I've never heard someone with so much knowledge speaking to this person, just walking around the garden in regard to this plant, this side, this watering, and all this type. Unbelievable. It just blew my mind. And that's coming from a position, my son's a landscape gardener. There you go. So he's so good. Just incidental, we end up selling that property. You're not invited. However, the vendor was so happy, she referred him to the buyer, and I'm going out with the vendor to have a celebratory lunch today with Cooper, who helped with the business as well. But you're not invited. I thought I'd put, that's the icing on the cake.